right. You know, look on this. Look how Jamaican wicked, you know. My auntie, they are foreign, you know. And our man left from town come here to build house for her. You know, look here. You know, look here. The little wicked man claim to say him lay black. And video call the woman, tell the woman say him lay the black, the man a go on good. Somebody you know look on this and tell me, you know. The man lean up with some of them and put on the black them. Good, put on the black them. And tell the woman say he lay the black. We have to use this stone there so to catch up the black. No, don't tell me if I'm a wickedness. You look at this. Look there. What is this? You tell me, you know. You better than they give me all of them money, you know. You better than they give me the money.
Me asking a question. How much you know that send down money right now if you get on a house, build on a dream house, whether by man, whether by family member, whether by friend. Put it in a comment. When have somebody out there who can't trust. Because all the time here say people take picture of people and people house and send go give people. See? Let me know in a comment. Anyway, guys, and that me there to talk about. Want to like this video for me? A blessed day, viewers and subscribers. Welcome back to the boss with another video. Today, I'm going to share a story with you now. I see it on TikTok from where they are. I share with you now because we are talking about similar situation. The girl is a Jamaican and she got detained by ICE. So I want everybody listen and she go explain a whole heap of things what she said when she was in detention. Alright, so I want to like this video, comment, let me know what you think about it. You could drive and listen.
Hi everyone, so I'm here today to tell you guys about my personal, up close and personal experience with the big bad wolves, ICE of course. So 2 weeks after having my newborn baby in the United States of America, my husband and I had a disagreement. Unfortunately for me, that disagreement ended in the cops being called, not by my husband. I'm going to put that out there, not by my husband, but I will not be calling the name of whoever it is that made that call. I'm not here to bring down anybody. I'm here to talk about my experience with the actual enemy, which is ICE. Bear in mind, I had my baby via C-section on the 4th of February. This incident occurred on the 18th of February, right? I had a fresh wound, had a fresh cut, and I was brought in by ICE regardless. At first, I was at Okaloosa County, and I spent a day there. My husband came and he paid my bond, and that's when we knew that there was a ICE hold on me for 48 hours. 46 hours into that 48 hours, they came and they got me. My first stop was at Tallahassee, which was a very, that was just a nightmare. I was held in a holding cell for 12 hours, freezing. When I say freezing, I mean type freezing. Bear in mind, I'm anemic. I was taking irons. I was on my iron medication. I'm anemic. And on top of that, I had a fresh wound. So at no point was I supposed to be kept in that type of condition because me never unalive nobody. Quite frankly, I did not unalive a soul. Never rob nobody, never scam nobody, me never commit no fraud. So that was a bit extreme to me. When I was at Tallahassee, as I said, I was held in the holding cell for 12 hours. I was exhausted, I was tired, I was in pain, and there was nowhere to sleep. It was just the ground and the walls and a toilet with an overhead sink where you can probably drink a little water or whatever. So I had to sleep on the floor for a couple hours because I was so exhausted and drained. I just had a baby. So you can just imagine. From Tallahassee, I ended up at Baker. They kept me at Baker in a holding cell for 6 hours. When I got there, at this point, I was freaking out because as soon as I felt the cold conditions, I was thinking to myself, I had to go through this all night last night. I'm not going through it again. I asked the officer at the front, I said, "Sir, can I have a blanket, please?" He shut the door and he said, "Oh, you won't be here for that long." 2 hours in being there for that long, I had to bang, 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 bang on the windows until eventually I told them that, hey, I just had a C-section done. I need a blanket. I'm anemic. Told them the whole works, and I guess they had some empathy on me and gave me a blanket. I had to fight for a blanket. Anyways, got the blanket and I went straight to sleep because I was so exhausted. From Baker, that 6-hour-old in Baker, the next stop was at Chrome in Miami. When I got to Chrome, the first thing that greeted me was the stench of the place, because Chrome is a men's facility, right? So the first thing that greeted me at Chrome was the stench. They have the men in a small ass room, literally piled on each other. And as soon as you got through that door, you could smell the collective odors. You could smell it. Fortunately for us as women, we got to stay on the psych ward, which was empty. And we got to sleep on beds. The men were not that fortunate. They were all like just laying head and tail on the floor. The floor was covered with like detainees, and they smelled awful. That's the conditions that they're holding the immigrants in. As for us as women, I remember, if I'm remembering correctly, there were like 57 of us. When we got there, some of the workers were literally in tears because they said they took the job because they believed that they were dealing with men. Now that they have to be dealing with women, they don't know how to they don't know how to handle it. Anyways, when I got to Chrome, that was the first in a good while I got to take a shower, because we stayed there for like probably 3 days, I believe. In that 3 days, there was a nurse there that there was no designated area for my cut to be looked at. So she just brought me in a room and she examined the cut. She told me that it had yeast buildup under, like because I have a pouch. And she made sure that it was clean, and she made sure that the bathroom was clean thoroughly before I had a shower. So she really tried to help. On top of that, she came and she got me one evening and she said, "We're gonna get you released, because usually they don't take up females in your condition. Even if they do take you up, after a day they would release you. You're not supposed to be here." Those are the words of her, not me. Those are her words, not mine. Anyways, unfortunately, she told me not to tell anybody, but unfortunately the next day a guy came to me and he told me that they sent an email to a judge, I'm not sure what judge, and the judge said, "No, I cannot be released." Anyways, we were at Chrome for a while, and for like 3 days, and then eventually they came and they called our names and kind of just split us up, and some of us were on our way to Baker County. Bear in mind, I already spent 6 hours in a holding cell in Baker County a couple days before that, and now here I am going back down the line. Anyways, when I got to Baker County, I got booked there, and that was the only calm I got in a good while, because when you're booked somewhere, you end up staying there for a while. I ended up staying at Baker for like 2 weeks and a half. And when I was at Baker, I met other Jamaicans, and I kind of just calmed down, and yeah. So when we were at Baker, initially, Baker was literally just babysitting us. Because here's the thing. They're grabbing persons by the thousands, and they don't have anywhere to put us. So what they're doing is they're housing us in jail houses, and sometimes you can be driving around on the bus for hours at a time, all night, just because there is no facility that has room to keep us. So it's me again. This is part 2 of my interaction being detained by ICE. So I left off when I was at Baker. So when I was at Baker, as I said before, that's when I got the first bit of calm. Anyways, eventually, one morning, they woke us up at like 4 a.m. in the morning and told us all, hey, get ready, we're leaving. So we're like, we're leaving. These people don't tell you that you're leaving beforehand. They just come, oh, you're leaving. You don't know where you're going. Your family not going to hear from you until you reach where you're going. And wherever you're going can take a day, 2 days, 3 days, however long it takes. That morning, we were put on a flight to Louisiana. Man, I was freaking out. I'm not gonna lie. I freaked out because I was like, I'm going on a whole plane without my consent. What the what? Anyways, they huddled us all up on that flight, and they sent us to Louisiana. Before I was sent to Louisiana, I was offered a deal, and I took the deal. But even though I took the deal, I was still, because remember, when they snatched me, I signed that I wanted to be put in front of a judge and I wanted to fight my case. To this day, I've not been placed in front of a judge to even fight my case. I've not gotten a court date to this day. And I just ended up, after sitting for 3 months and a week, I'm like, no. This isn't worth it. This is not worth being away from my children. This is not worth being away from my family. This is not worth being locked up. It just wasn't worth it after a while. Anyways, so I didn't get to see a judge. I got offered a deal. And even though I was offered the deal, I decided that my family went ahead and hired a lawyer to see if I could get a court date that way to fight the case. Not even the lawyer could have helped me. All right? Let's just put that out there. And so when we got to Louisiana, I kept that paper with me. I was supposed to hand it over, but I kept it with me for a while. Because I then figured out that my child could not get his passport without my consent. So I had to sit and wait for 6 weeks. For 6 weeks, I was waiting just for a paper to be notarized to give the consent to my husband to go and get the passport for my child. The conditions at Louisiana. It's an open dorm that houses 70 women. It has the capacity of holding 70 women at any given time. Imagine being in a dorm with women from various backgrounds. We were a very diverse bunch. Because for one, we don't all speak the same language. There are females from all over the world, mostly from Hispanic, Latino descents. And then you have us that speak English, and you have some of them that are bilingual, and so on and so forth. Imagine being housed with 70 women. Sometimes it's 66, sometimes it's 64, but let's just keep it at 70 and let's approximate it to 70 at any given time. It's always loud. The bathroom setting, it's 5 shower heads in one big room. So you're expected to shower with women that you don't know. I guess that is how it is in lockup, but anyways, imagine there was like, I don't remember exactly, but probably 9 toilets. And imagine you don't know what anybody have, but you're supposed to share the 9 toilets. You have like 9 phones. You're supposed to share the 9 phones. And you have 9 tablets. That to me is a big setup because people are always fighting over the tablets. Thanks for that luxury of having a tablet or the use of a tablet while being in such a situation. But 9 tablets, really, with all the money that you guys are earning off of us, I think you can buy more than 9 tablets to facilitate a dorm that has 70 persons in it at some time or the next. Anyways, the conditions, the food, horrible. But thanks be to God, they have a system where there's commissary. So me, I mostly fed off commissary because my husband always made sure that I was good. So I always had money to buy my commissary, and that's what I really fed off of. No, they give you the commissary, but they come with the commissary whenever they feel. There's no set day. Sometimes the commissary is a week late. Sometimes it's 3 days late, a day late. It's never early. It's never on time. It never comes before time or on time. It's always late. And whenever it is that you talk about it, they want to give you an attitude. I guess that's what it is in lockup. I don't know. It was a very new and out of body experience for me. So it is what it is. On top of it all, we're not protected when we are in there because the guards that are put in place to keep order are the same ones that are, to me, and I'm not even sure if I can say this word on TikTok, but these are the ones that are literally waiting on BLOOD to be shed because they don't fix problems. It's like they want the stereotype of saying, oh, these people are aggressive people and that's why they're here in the first place. But just imagine being locked up with a bunch of women from a bunch of different backgrounds, the good, the bad, and the ugly. There is going to be issues. But whenever the issues arise, they don't deal with them. You have some guards in there that are taking side with the bullies that are in there. And I'm not sure why, but this made it 10 times harder to survive. So at one point, it wasn't even the lockup that I was trying to survive. It was actually the people, believe it or not. So as I was saying before, at one point, it wasn't even being locked up that was the issue anymore. It was dealing with the actual people. Another thing is the medical conditions there. So yes, we do get facilitated in getting medications and stuff. But half the time the medications are late. Sometimes they don't have the medication that you need. And sometimes, for example, when I was there, my cut, one day I was showering. But once I finished showering, I always try to dry my incision. When I was drying the incision, there were traces of blood. Bear in mind, this was probably 8-9 weeks after the actual incision. So I was a bit worried. But I wasn't like worried as, oh, I'm going to die worried, but worried as in, oh, this might get infected worried. So all I wanted to do was get some ointment to rub on my cut to make sure that it doesn't get infected. When I went to Medicina and asked them to look at it for me, when she looked, there was no blood. Of course, it was not bleeding like a river, but there was traces of BLOOD. So she told me, oh, it's not bleeding, whatever. Before I left out of that room, I turned to her and I said, well, even if the blood isn't there right now, it was there when I finished showering. So can I get some ointment? I was denied the ointment. She did not give me any ointment to rub on it. My cut kept bleeding for like 3 to 4 days after because every time I took a shower and I wiped it, there were still traces of blood. Let's talk not so much about me right now, but I'm going to give you the experiences of some persons in there. So for example, there was this lady, I'm not going to call her name. She's Jamaican. She has problems with her veins. One night we were there and one of her veins popped open. Like there was BOOD spreading everywhere. It was just spraying everywhere because her vein popped. Initially, they told her that she was going to be sent out to surgery. And then after a few days, they took it back. How is it that someone is having major issues with their vein and you said, okay, we're going to schedule you to go outside to be seen by a better doctor so that they can do a surgery on you to fix the problem. And then they take that back. They don't care, right? They just don't. They pretend to care, but they don't care. There's an older lady. She's also Jamaican. That woman had a DV, a domestic violence charge from 18 years ago. And this is a woman. She's an older woman. She's in her 60s. Acts like she's in her 20s. I love that lady. But she's an older woman. This lady is a green card holder. She had a domestic violence charge 18 years ago. She did her time, whatever it was to be done from all the way back then. This is a woman that travels the world. So I must shut up some of you guys who keep talking about, oh, it's persons who are undocumented that are being targeted. That's a whole lie. The media lies. So she was picked up when she was coming back from a funeral that she attended in Jamaica. And she was being charged with arriving as an alien, as an undocumented alien, or as an alien, something of the sort. The lady has her green card. She's been traveling in and out of the country for years. So I guess because of whatever happened in January, it just changed a lot. And persons who were safe are no longer safe. Persons are being taken up by mistake. And those persons who are taken up by mistake, even though they're going to release them at some point, it's like, oh, you weren't born here. Nah, we don't care. You're going to sit and do time regardless of if we're going to release you. You're going to go through the trauma. We don't care. This whole thing is a money-making thing. This whole thing is dehumanizing, because I can honestly say that I went through it, but I got through it way better than some persons, because for one, some persons have to sit and wait for months for a court date, like myself. But some persons aren't even eligible to be given voluntary departure. So they just have to sit and wait for 6 months, 9 months, just to get a court date, just for them to tell them that they're going to deport them. I was lucky. That baby that I had before this whole ordeal is a blessing. Because of him is why I can be here right now free telling you guys about the whole ordeal. I was given that voluntary departure on the basis of going home so that I could get my child, so that I could continue to breastfeed. Okay? There are persons in there who just have to sit and wait for months just for a court date, just to be deported. So I guess when you're in prison, you know when you're leaving, especially if you behave well. But in these detention centers, you will be sitting for an indefinite amount of time. For those who don't understand, it means you will be sitting not knowing when or where or how you're gonna get out of that place, or when or how you're gonna get out of that place. Right? I promised the persons there that I was gonna come out and shed some light on what's happening. So that's what I'm doing. So for the persons who mean me well and they're saying, don't talk about it, I am sorry. I am the one that went through it. I am the one that was there to experience it with others. So I'm just trying to be brave. Okay? There are women that are being detained right now where their children are being placed into foster care without their consent, because they don't have any family left in the country to take care of their children. So they're just giving up the children to foster care and they're deporting them. There are some persons who the man is in a detention center, the woman is in a detention center. There's nobody to keep their kids and they're just putting them in the foster care system. And when they said, when you think you have it bad, someone else has it worse, at least they know that their kids are being put in the foster care system. There are some women that just don't know where their children are. These women cry on a daily basis. Man, I'm getting emotional now. And I'll go finish that video without getting emotional. But I tell you, my skin right now, it's crawling. Because I witnessed this with my own ears and my own eyes. One morning, I was sleeping and I heard a cry, a scream. And there was this woman at the front of the room, all the way at the front, just sitting there crying, banging her head. Some of the other women, they were upset with her for waking them up. How absurd. Ugh, you guys got on my nerves sometimes. When I got up, I was upset that she woke me up too. But in a split second, I was like, oh my God. And I got out of bed and I went up there and I sat beside her and I hugged her. She doesn't speak English. And she was crying, and the only thing I could make out was her saying, Bebe, mi bebe, mi bebe. And I hugged her and I said, no comprende. It's to Espanol, mama. But I understand bebe. And I understand tears. Right? She doesn't know where her kids are. She don't know where they're at. These are the experiences of the persons who are being detained. But yet still, I can only see people on social media bashing people, saying, oh, just come home. Some of us are being sent home without our children. When they're sending you home, they don't send you home with a pin that belongs to you. They're stealing the children. They're stealing your stuff. It is just pure evil. So I'm not going to talk a lot more on this. There's a lot to be said, but I think I've said enough. For those who don't understand, I hope that this gives you guys more insight and more understanding on what is happening. It's not just about deportation. It's about trafficking. It's about kidnapping. It's about stealing. It's money making. It's pure evil. And for anybody that wants to rejoice in some of us downfall or want to rejoice, I hope nothing bad in this life ever happens to you. Because bear in mind, today for me and tomorrow for Uno.
Alright, guys, tell me what you think about that. Tell me what you think about that, guys. Let me get a feedback, please and thanks. Let me get a feedback. Wow. That whole thing sound scary. You understand? Sounds scary. Sometimes we put out story like this, some people say nothing go so. Blah blah blah, and yeah, scare people and then thing there. I'm playing my voice note phone, I'm gonna hear this and then we move on.
Wagwan, me there currently I watch one of your most recent video with immigration wise when they are say like you should have like probably a joke you make like you should have named information boss instead. Mhm. Um I mean correct me if I'm wrong, but me I get the impression to yeah, scare the viewers them too much pertaining to US immigration. It's not that serious. I now go just do whatever like that. Me know this person, female, she have a conditional green card and recently she come back to the US. They now go just hold on for you like that. You have to have an issue, underlying issue. Whether it be immigration wise, or whether it be civil wise, or criminal wise, or even miscellaneous. Them now go just hold you and detain you like that. Because if you have a pending application and a work permit, or even a pending application and you have no issue, you're still in the country legally because you're legally able to stay in the country until a decision is made on your case. You know, have to in a, you know, have, your visa not have to your status not have to expire, or you have to have a green card to have legal presence in the country. The moment you have a pending application, your presence is legal. Sometimes pending application come with a work permit. You understand? So, and you can travel with your advance parole. I mean, immigration lawyer don't recommend it, but you can still travel because, as I say, once you have an issue and you leave the country with your advance parole, that a travel document from USCIS, and you come back in the US, the most of them do a question you for suspect trafficking. They might do the necessary checks. They might have you in there for hours, and chances are you'll miss your flight. Hopefully, you don't miss a flight. You know, you know, get granted back in the US. You understand me? I said, so it's not that serious. It's not that serious, trust me. I just scared, right? It's just scared. It just was scared the public. You understand? Because based on statistics, a lot of people are being thrown into court and based on Trump ICE agents, and them a lose the case. Because what them a do is unlawful. You understand me? I say, me I talk for the some of the ICE agent them what do illegal practice like then hold on for the US citizen who is a public figure what they I don't remember him name and then come out and saying good. That what ICE do illegal and they can stand some strong, expensive um lawsuits, but nobody not enforce them. You understand me? I say, so at the end of the day, if they hold on upon me and you and we're not an issue, we have something pending, or with visa not expire, with status not expire. Once we prove it in a court, case kick away. You understand me? I say, so yeah.
Oh, no, me understand everything what you say by law, my brother. But Trump broke every law. Normally, you have to deal with the governor if he's sending troop. And Trump no business. Some send them said way. When the ICE them well they do what they want to do with it. So the people are go for green card and ICE well them. People are go for renew this, people are go for this, them couldn't hurry. And you don't have to do nothing, brother. Foolish is attack. Once you're in a country illegal and they feel like they want to get you, then get you. Remember they did sack the bad people them get out and all innocent people are ball. All people who vote for Trump, family are get take away. So I don't know which news you watch, I don't understand what going on. You understand? Saying so we come out and tell people to travel upon them US citizen passport. They must say, no, I travel upon my Jamaican one said way. And what they want attorney come and ball out here and tell them, me nobody call and say nothing so. On the wall, I don't know them on the right part, but them people they not play brother. Trump now work off a law and order again, brother. The man do it theme way. The man ice them and the borders are alright? So big up yourself.
Me hear about the passport thing. Of true your talk. The thing is, them say USA offer dual citizenship, So that more than one citizenship, Jamaican and US. Seeing? And Jamaica offer dual citizenship too. Seeing if you renounce your citizenship. A Trump calls it, why is that with somebody who have dual citizenship, who they are USA and a Jamaican citizen, and also a US citizen? Have to use them US passport to go to Jamaica. You understand? So you need to use it to come back in the USA. So they can let you in. Why you have to use that? Boy, this a man a corrupt. Because back then it wasn't like that. You're Jamaican and you got Jamaica. And you use a Jamaican passport once you have it and it's valid.
So I made a post about ICE basically saying Jamaicans aren't afraid of ICE. We're not afraid of going back to our home country because our country is beautiful and we have no fear of you guys deporting us. And everybody's asking me like, oh, why don't you go if Jamaica's so much better? Why don't you move back to Jamaica? It's not a matter of me saying like, oh, I want to leave America just to go live to Jamaica because obviously this is where I was raised in America. I was born in Jamaica, but I was raised here. I wasn't saying Jamaica was all that better than America, but what I was trying to point out is the simple fact that if everything was to crash and burn for me in America, it would be a lot harder for me to survive here than it would for me in Jamaica. In Jamaica, people fish, people go fishing for their food, people grow plants, people grow fruits. The soil is rich over there, so it's easier for you to survive if you go hungry. In America, if you go hungry, you gotta rob and steal, you gotta do things illegally. It's harder for you to make it out here. I'm just saying it would be a lot easier for me to survive.
And I approve this message 100%. Say what you want to say about Jamaica, but bad to bad. Hey, a mango time and the amount of mango, me a mango on the ground like sand. I go over my neighbor mango just dip on the ground. I go over my neighbor and pick some blackie when I look me see his thing then. You understand? When I go up a look, I see one apple tree, I see one tamarind tree, I see cane. Enough people plant cane. Enough time I hungry and a cane, me chop one cane and I eat. I remember back in the days, you can go to one shop and get $10 bread and butter. $50 for 2 slices of bread and butter out of Paloon. Big up Paloon. And one Carlsberg juice for $20, that's $70. Talk up to sweet Jamaica. Aki time, you can pick some aki breadfruit. You can get to breadfruit. You can get for hunger. And Jamaican love each other. Rally round. If your friend a cook a pot, you can go there, go sit down and wait for him and chat to them. But you not left until the pot done because you want it. Me used to cook a little food and my friend then come. I no bother share it. Rest a little bit. I just, when they come and I chat, hey, he say, yeah man, he say, I just put on all my shoes and say, I walk go up the road, and as I gone, I just look around the corner and I just come back on my yard and just share up my food and eat. What this under my nose? I'm out.